It has been another week. Welcome back, everyone. A quick reminder that September is still International Podcast Month. You may have heard my voice already in some of the podcasts released, but this month has lots more great content to come. We will be sure to tweet about it, but you can keep up with everything by visiting internationalpodcastmonth.com and subscribing to the I Am Here, that's HEAR, podcast feed.
I want to take a moment to talk about a more serious question that we got this past week from one of our listeners about the system we are covering this month. So, Deadlands Reloaded has a lot of interesting themes and a lot of crazy plot stuff happening, but it also has a lot of really problematic content, in particular regarding Native Americans. I will say now that we don't really cover that in this series. If you want to hear our guests talk a little bit about it, they did do a Q&A chat with Shadow of the Cabal. You can find that chat either in the Sounds Like Crows podcast feed or in the Shadow of the Cabal podcast feed, but it's not something that we get into in these episodes. So I want to say that personally, I have struggled to find the best way to talk about those kinds of concerns in our show. You might have noticed that we talk fairly frequently in Character Evolution Cast episodes about how to navigate things respectfully and consciously. And it is something that's really, really important to me. I think everyone, and I mean absolutely everyone, has a right to feel safe and welcome at the table. That being said, I want to make sure that when we do have those kinds of discussions, that we are doing them justice. Ryan and I are middle-class suburban white people. And while I identify as queer, our show as a whole is not really coming from a minority perspective. And I think it's important to be upfront about that. I'm not always sure that we are the best people to comment on it. I struggled with it in our L5R episodes. I think it's a careful balance between calling things out when we see them, but also not attempting to speak for marginalized voices when they really should be allowed to speak for themselves. I want to assure everyone that this is something that we take really seriously and something that we've thought about and something that's really important to us and honestly something that we want to do as well as we can. So I hope that we get a chance to talk more about navigating some of those issues at the table because I think it's relevant to a lot of us and it's extremely important. I'm really grateful to our listeners that reached out to us, and I want to make sure that you guys know that you definitely can talk to us and that it's a thing that we are aware of. I'm really glad that you guys are thinking about these topics too, and honestly, I'm really glad that you're challenging us to do better. So please feel free to reach out to us about your concerns. We always want to talk to you about those kinds of things. You can always come find us on our Discord, which is where this conversation happened. We're more than happy to talk about it. But I just want you guys to know that this is definitely a thing that we're aware of and is really important to us, or just kind of still navigating the best way to talk about it.
I agree with everything that Amelia just said.
Thanks, Ryan.
But finally, on a more positive note, we would like to end on a review, as we always do. This review comes from Librarian from the USA, titled, Making Better Players and Play. There is a ton of advice for GMs out there, but not enough information on how to play well. Character Creation Cast, using a wonderful format of building characters and discussing systems, helps bring to light how RPG players can bring out evocative characters and how to interact with games in a delightful, encouraging way. Ryan and Amelia are wonderful, enthusiastic hosts who the RPG community is thankful to have. Oh, that is a very nice positive note to end on. Thank you so much.
That's from Justin, and Justin is an absolutely amazing person. So thank you, Justin.
Thank you, Justin.
All right, with all of that fun and also serious, but also fun stuff out of the way, let's get to the episode.
Enjoy. last episode of Character Creation Cast, Amelia was making a crazed huckster. Caleb was making a devout blessed. Cameron was making a smooth-talking gambler. Alex was making a recluse lumberjack. And I was making a bloodthirsty gunslinger outlaw who likes a murdering and a stealing. Let's pick up right where we left off from last time. Enjoy the show.
So edges and hindrances, these folks have looked through them. I have not, so I'm going to let them.
So the way that these work is when you start your character, if you pick human, you get one free edge. So you get to pick your edge. And then after that, any character gets another edge. Correct, Alex? So like at character creation, get one edge and then one extra for being human.
I don't think so, no. I think that other races, if you're playing like a fantasy setting or something like that, they just get some racial benefits. But if they want edges, they have to use the hindrance system to get points. I think humans are the only thing. It's kind of like in 5th edition, human variants get a free feat, and they're the only one that get that. Same kind of concept with this.
So then at this point, because we're all playing human, all of us get one free edge to start. And then from there, in order to get further edges, you need to pick what are called hindrances, which are basically going to be mechanical drawbacks to your character. They're also going to have a huge effect on who your character is as a person. It's a good way that this system kind of forces you to put drawbacks on your characters and to kind of flush out their own hindrances and drawbacks. So the way that works is there are both major and minor hindrances. Major hindrances are going to be things like arrogant, which would draw you into dangerous situations. A major addiction, say you are addicted to opioids and you constantly need them in order to be functional. And then there are minor ones, such as like a minor habit or a minor enemy, somebody who kind of has it out for you but isn't going to go, like chase you across the world. But for every major hindrance you have, it gives you an edge. And for every 2 minor hindrances you have, it gives you an edge. And you can pick up to 3 to begin. So I picked Tenderfoot as a minor, which is basically going to mean that I have -1 grit. And I'm not used to being out in the dirt. I'm more of a city slicker. And then Habit is my other minor. I think he's going to be addicted to tobacco. So as long as I'm smoking, I don't have any drawbacks. And then Arrogant is going to be my major. So that's going to draw me into all kinds of dangerous situations where my character is going to be cocky and think that he can handle whatever he comes across. So that's going to buy me 2 extra edges.
Okay. Well, from what I'm understanding here in the Deadlands book, you can only get points from the first major and the first 2 minor hindrances.
Right.
That's correct, yeah.
So you could have up to 4 points, and then you can spend 2 points for an edge, or you can spend 1 point for another skill or money.
Yes, absolutely.
You could also spend 2 points to raise 1 attribute up a die type.
Yeah.
I didn't realize you could do that at character creation.
Wow, learn something new every day,
Yeah.
Cameron.
You're always a student.
Most people, I think, pick edges because they're just so dang fun.
Yeah.
But you definitely...
They're pretty flavorful.
They are flavorful, but you definitely have that option. And every time you get an advancement, which you'll get 4 each rank when you're leveling up, you can just pick an edge. So if you got your eyes on something, you can always pick it later, as long as it's not a background edge. Like the one I picked, which is miracles. So I can pray for things and they might happen. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah. They kind of, again, work like clerics where you just say what you want. You pick a power that is available to them. You make a faith roll and you get negatives depending on how crazy of a thing it is. So if it's a crazy power, it'd be a -4. And then if you're successful, it happens. And I believe there's a rule in here where if you roll a 1 on your faith die, you have a crisis of faith, and it's possible you may not be able to ask for more miracles until you resolve that somehow.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, this system has a really good... I'm having a hard time talking today.
All the spellcasters hurt.
Yeah. This system has a cool balancing act that it kind of goes through where with all of the casters, if you roll a 1, something terrible can happen. For mad scientists, who are another basically form of caster, if they roll a natural 1 on their mad science roll, whatever they're using malfunctions. Oftentimes that means it's going to explode or it just will stop functioning. And hucksters, if they roll a 1, they have to go through a thing with the demon, making a deal that that whole thing comes up. So it's really interesting way to add flavor to your characters and to the casters specifically.
Oh, very cool.
So I have a question. There are a couple that are listed as major/minor. So do you just pick how much you want to play into that?
Yeah,
or
basically it kind of details it in most of those, I think, but basically you're just picking how severe that particular hindrance is.
So one I just looked at, for example, was Wanted, which my character does have. I took it as a minor, and a minor hindrance of that is you have $100 on your head. You probably have a state bounty, and there's probably not a lot of people coming after you. A major details it as somewhere equivalent to $1,000 as being wanted, which means you probably have bounty hunters following you across state lines to try and track you down.
Yeah, it's 1d6 times 100 for the minor and 1d6 times 1,000 for the major.
Oh,
which could be up to 6,000 if you had it as a major, which is crazy.
Man, I learned something today, which is Ryan is better at reading than I am.
That's not surprising to me.
I know this because I also took Wanted as a minor hindrance for my character.
Cool.
Maybe you guys are getting into some stuff together.
Maybe, dude.
That's very possible.
And then this is a sound you're going to hear a lot whenever you're playing Deadlands.
Shuffling cards.
Shuffling cards. Because Alex, you picked a hindrance over there?
That's actually an edge. I'm getting a little ahead of the game here.
What'd you get?
Well, should I go over my hindrances first?
Probably.
Are we doing that?
Yeah, probably. Sorry.
Has
I'm messing up the flow of this
Has everybody
show.
else done it already?
I haven't done mine yet.
I haven't.
Okay.
I haven't gotten mine.
I have not
I haven't
either.
gotten mine.
I'm still kind of trying to.
I'm also still picking.
Okay, cool. Well, I'll wait then.
Well,
Sorry,
I got mine. My
Go for it.
hindrances. All right, so for my minor hindrances, I took 2 of them. I already went over that I took Wanted as a minor hindrance, but I also took Vengeful as a minor hindrance. And that says if your character always attempts to right a wrong he feels was done to him. So since it's a minor hindrance, I'll usually seek vengeance legally. What usually is probably the key word there for this character.
Yeah.
But if it's major, basically they'll kill to see that vengeance done.
On our show, Abel has a major hindrance of Vengeful.
Oh, interesting. That explains a lot.
Yeah, it does.
That
Yeah.
makes so much sense. There are a couple though that I was reading through here. I was like, oh, I know who has
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And then probably my most problematic hindrance is my major hindrance. I took Bloodthirsty.
I tell you,
that is a
that
major
hindrance has got me in a lot of trouble in the past.
Oh, I'm
It sounds
sure.
really cool.
Yeah, I'm sure it would. Basically, this one means that I will never take prisoners. Shoot to kill pretty much all the time.
Wow.
I'm really proud of you, Ryan. I'm
Yeah.
so proud of you for not making a nice guy.
Yeah, this guy's intense.
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, this guy's super
Yeah.
intense.
He's going to get the whole party killed, probably,
Yep.
It's
in their first encounter.
going to be great. I feel like that's the great part about doing things this way, though, is that we never have to follow
Right.
through or see the consequences of our terrible character decisions.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I've been thinking about this whole time.
Yeah, I still tried to make him something that I think I would have fun playing.
Yeah.
And not just a all-around skis bag, but
I think
Sometimes those are fun.
it's really good to push yourself in a direction of a character you haven't normally played. I feel like you always learn a little something about yourself, even if you don't have a ton of fun with the character.
That's true. And it's always a good time. It's good to try something new, and it's also good to counteract your own nature
Mhm.
in a way.
And you can always get out. I played a character I didn't like very much recently, specifically to challenge myself. And then we got a year into that game, and I was like, I'm done. And I switched.
Yep.
Yeah,
So,
I think this character would have a very short lifespan, probably.
I think most of these characters have short lifespans.
Yeah. I mean, any character in Savage Worlds has the possibility of having a short lifespan.
That's very true.
So in addition to Wanted, I picked as my other minor hindrance, Death Wish. He's got a minor Death Wish. I kind of have a story reason for this. Do we wait to do that later, or should I talk about that now?
You can talk about that right now.
All right, so these two kind of go hand in hand, Death Wish and Wanted. The premise I have in my head is he used to be a soldier for the North or South. I don't know yet. Depends on where you all are from. And I think he was in a combat one time. And because he is Grim Servant O Death, which is my major hindrance, when you roll a 1 on any sort of attack roll, you shoot an ally instead. So this happened. He shot someone in his company, and then he just deserted. He ran away, and now he's wanted, and he's trying to redeem himself. And that's sort of where the Death Wish comes in. Death Wish means that you're looking to accomplish. You're basically trying to die heroically, and I picked it as a minor, so it's not crazy.
I don't know if I want to be in this party anymore.
Just bullets everywhere.
We got someone who's bloodthirsty. We got the Grim Servant of Death.
It's funny because I almost took the Grim Servant of Death as well.
That would have been great. Death would have been
just
its all
really-
together.
That one too.
It's a cool edge or a hindrance, I guess.
Yeah.
It depends on who you're
Depends
playing.
on who you are. Yeah.
I like it because it doesn't hurt anyone. It hurts everyone except you. You know,
Right.
Yeah.
I was thinking about going for like a berserker kind of character, but I'm really glad I didn't at this point because it would be way too much chaos, I think.
we'd
It's already
shoot you and then
level-headed.
you'd have to kill us.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, I just feel like that's a real GM move to pick something that hurts everybody else.
Listen, failure is good for the story, okay?
Oh my God. I couldn't tell you how many times I've heard that.
Fail forward.
Fail forward.
Ugh.
Yeah.
All right.
Gross.
Who else has to? Did we all go? I mean, I didn't yet. But
Alex
I haven't
hasn't
gotten
gone,
his.
but I think his play right into his edges. So I say Amelia should go for it, and then Alex can bring us into the edges.
Sure.
all right. So for my major hindrance, I picked Bad Dreams.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Yeah. Which you start with one less Benny per session, and you're always tired.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's hitting a little
like
too
real
close to
life.
home.
That's just like real life.
I really like when players have that hindrance as a GM because you can like foreshadow a lot of stuff. You can talk about like weird enemies and stuff. It's cool. That's a good choice.
Mhm. I also picked Delusional as a minor hindrance, and then I also picked Stubborn
Nice.
Wow.
because I'm not playing myself at all.
No.
Right?
Are you delusional because you don't know if this is still a dream?
Oh my God.
I wasn't going anywhere with that.
I liked it.
Oh, okay.
That is where I was going with it. But
And that's why she's
Cool.
got the nightmares all the time.
Mhm.
I haven't picked my last edge, you guys.
That's fine. Alex, what do you got?
oh, I have like not really picked edges either.
All right, let's go over my hindrances real fast.
Lay 'em on us.
Mhm.
So I like to think this character is being almost like shunned by society, or he doesn't get along with people very well, which kind of led him to the lumberjack lifestyle and eventually more of like a secluded mountain man kind of lifestyle. He only goes into cities when he absolutely has to. So I picked Clueless, which is a hindrance that basically common knowledge, like famous people, current events, I have no knowledge of. I get like a -2 every time I have to roll for it. Then I took Outsider, kind of for along the same lines. I feel like I'm an outsider amongst towns or cities, So I took that, which also I think gives me negatives to basically just like dealing with people. So I'm not good with people. And then my third hindrance is lion eyes. So I'm also not very good at lying to people, which kind of
nice.
I think also falls into that. So I kind of just put all of my eggs into that basket, the not being good with people basket. And then I have to have a fourth one because one of my edges kind of forced me into it here.
Oh.
So I don't know if you want me to go over that now or wait for us to go into the edges.
Well,
Well,
I think we're ready for that, yeah?
yeah, I think we're ready for that.
So my fourth one, I took an edge. It's called Veteran of the Old West, Veteran O of the Old West. And when you take this edge, it's a background edge, so you take it during character creation. And when you take it, you have to draw a card out of a deck of cards, and something bad's going to happen with your character based on what you drew. And I drew a 5 of hearts. So basically I wound up with because of all of the exposure I've had out in the woods to the Weird West in general, different monsters and weird happenings, I have developed alcoholism. So that's just part of my character now. I don't really have a choice in that because I picked that edge.
That's pretty
So
good.
that makes sense. Don't know if you want us to go into the rest of the edges now, or should we wait for everybody else to get caught up a little bit? Or
I mean, I have my edges picked out, so I can just pick up right after you.
Yeah, me too.
okay,
You only go into town for one thing. Whiskey.
that's right. That's probably true. Actually, that makes sense. So then I took Brawny because I felt like I had to since I'm a lumberjack, which basically increases my toughness by 1 and makes it so I can carry more stuff.
Nice.
And then I took Brave, which gives me bonuses to fear checks. I think it's a +2 bonus. And then since I took Veteran of the Old West, the good side of that is I'm seasoned right off the bat. So basically it gives you 4 free advances.
Oh, wow.
And with those, I picked some different combat edges. So I picked Sweep, kind of lets me do, it's kind of like Cleave in Pathfinder, or some of the D&D editions. Lets you make melee attack rolls against more than one adjacent target, essentially at a -2, I think. And then I took a trademark weapon, choosing my trusty axe. So I get a +1 bonus to all fighting rolls I make with that. So that'll help out when I'm taking negatives from Sweep. And from Frenzy, which I took with my season, which lets me make 2 attacks at a -2.
Wow.
And then with my last advance, I just got a attribute increase. I increased my strength to a D10, so that'll juice my damage up a little bit, and it let me take Frenzy.
Oh, very cool.
And that's it.
Well,
Those are my edges.
Very productive.
I'll let you know he purposely did not choose the edge titled Woodsman.
I couldn't because of look at the requirements.
Lots of requirements on that one.
Lots of requirements.
Yeah, I saw that one and I'm like, oh my goodness.
I really wanted to, but I was
Should've
like,
planned ahead.
there's no way in the world I can make all that work. Plus,
Can
get
you
all these
plan
cool.
ahead for that one?
I'm sure this part is going to reveal which of us are power gamers.
I don't know if there's
Thank
such
you.
thing as Savage Worlds, honestly. Is like, yeah, you can get like some different combat edges, but they don't help you out that much. And at the end of the day, a rat could attack you and its damage dice could blow up 10 times and you're dead.
Yep.
There's nothing you can do about it.
Just like the rabbit from Monty Python.
Exactly. That could happen in Savage Worlds.
So I have my edges ready.
Yeah, go for it.
Go for it.
So I went with charismatic, which is going to give me a +2 charisma, which you add to basically any positive social interaction. So if I were to, mainly it's persuasion. If you try to persuade somebody, I will roll that at a +2. And then I believe it also, depending on how you're doing it, might play into taunt if you try to, twist things up to make it work that way. So I just imagine my character being very charismatic and good with people, so I went ahead and grabbed that one. And then I grabbed lucky, which means that I get to grab a 4th Benny at the beginning of every session.
Nice. That's pretty
And
cool.
that's it from me.
Yeah, and then for mine, one thing I forgot to go over for the hindrances with Bloodthirsty, my charisma is -4 if people know of my cruel habits.
And that can actually be a benefit, especially when it comes to intimidation or taunt.
Oh, nice.
Why is that, Cameron?
Well, just intimidation, I think.
Is it just intimidation? So when you try to intimidate somebody, you get to add your negative charisma to it. So
Interesting.
if you have -4, you roll it +4.
That fits very well with the character I was trying to go for. Also very well with one of my edges that I chose. And that one was Strong-Willed, which required my Intimidate and my Taunt to be at D6s. Characters who are strong-willed use their voice, their steely stares, as they say, or quick wits to unnerve their opponents. And basically they will add +2 to a character's Intimidate and Taunt rolls.
Wow.
As well as their Spirit and Smarts rolls when resisting tests of the will attacks.
Dang.
So I thought that was a pretty cool one.
Yeah, I like
That's
that edge
cool.
a lot.
Yeah. And then my other edge was Quick Draw, which I felt worked really well. It needed an agility of D8. And this basically allows you to draw a weapon and ignore the usual -2 to their attack that round.
So when you try to draw a weapon and attack on the same round, that counts as basically 2 actions. So the way that Savage Worlds works is you're allowed to do as many actions as you'd like, but with each action, you take a -2 to the next one. So if you try to do 2, you take both actions at -2.
Okay.
So you can do 3, but that means that you're going to be, all 3 of them are going to be at -4. So with Quick Draw, it means that you negate that first -2 and you get to make an attack flat.
But you can't do the same action twice. For example, you can't attack twice with the same weapon unless you have some sort of edge or something that lets you do it.
Oh, okay. That's cool. Yeah, and it says that this one gives me +2 to agility rolls to draw a weapon in those types of situations that requires it.
Cool.
Wow. Man, this is a really dope gunslinger, to be
Right.
honest.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, you're gonna do something like very serious
Yeah,
matters.
Probably.
that's pretty much the point.
It's like a cooler version of Lucky.
Yeah,
Almost.
way cooler
Way
version.
All right.
All right, who still has to go? Did everybody else?
I haven't gone.
theirs, or-
I haven't gone.
Do you know what you want, or are you still thinking? Should I start talking?
Yeah, you go for it. You go for it.
Okay. I think I want to do snake oil salesman.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That's good, yeah.
Yeah, which gives a +2 bonus to persuasion and streetwise rolls. I don't have streetwise, but that's fine. And then I feel like I want to take a knack. One of the choices here. Where did they go? Part of me really wants to take breach birth because I'm just playing myself. And that's how I was born. So I
Dang.
feel like I might just take that one just because.
You
What's that-
have
what's
to at
that
this
one do?
point.
Let's see here. You can spend a fate chip to use the greater healing power. You don't need to roll. You automatically get a single success, healing 1 wound.
That's going to come in handy.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Very nice. Oh, and I think I forgot to mention that I still have 2 points left over from my hindrances.
So
And instead of buying an edge with those 2 points, I went and put one of those points into a streetwise skill. So now I'm at a D4 for streetwise.
that's a good way to use that.
Oh, yeah. And then I gave myself an extra $250.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Wow, Yeah.
As you'll see from my equipment selection, I've got somewhat of expensive tastes.
All right, Caleb, what do you got?
Okay. All right. Here I go. This is what I got. So I guess I was in the Confederate Army because
You
I
guess.
picked the edge Rebel Yell. So I can make an intimidation roll, which I don't have because he's not very good at it, but he can let out this intimidating yell in a large burst around him. So it's like an AoE intimidate, and that's possible I could shake some people. So I think he picked that up from his time in the army. I had to pick the background edge miracles so that I could pray for miracles. And then I picked the edge holy warrior, which means that I can pray for God's protection of me. And if there are demons or evil creatures around me, again in a large burst area, I can make a spirit roll, and if they fail, they could be shaken, or they could just be flat killed if they're an extra, or they could take a wound if they're a wild card. Actually, we haven't talked about that yet either. There's mobs in this game. There's wild cards, which is what we are. They have 3 wounds before they go down. And then there's extras, which are like the Mooks and Jackie Chan movies that he just beats up 20 of them in a single fight scene. And they have no wounds. If you beat their toughness, if you get a raise on their toughness, they're gone. They're dead. If you equal their toughness, they're just shaken. So when you're playing on a grid, it's pretty helpful because they call it, they're either up, down, or out. So they're either standing up, which means they're good to go. You can knock over the mini to say they're shaken, or take them off the table when they're dead, and it works really fast.
Oh, very cool.
No tracking hit points. That's all I got. Pretty boring edges, I think.
I think it's super interesting. I mean, you picked an edge that doesn't really line up well with your skills, and that I feel like that draws a lot to your character. And like, honestly, sometimes making the wrong choice makes it way more interesting.
Definitely.
Yeah, especially if
I
there's a
think
story
we can
reason
get some
behind it.
cool.
Exactly. So other than that, I think we're good on edges.
We did it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Nice.
Round
Look at us
of
go.
applause.
What's next?
This translates well to an audio medium.
Yeah, for sure.
Have fun editing that out later.
So next, I think, is gear, right? Choosing gear and stuff.
Yes. Yeah, it looks like you start with $250.
So, I mean, I feel like at this point we can probably go over if there's any major things that we want. I don't think we need to like point out every $3 pair of pants that we
Excellent.
buy.
Right.
Sure. How much money do we get, you guys?
250,
$250.
as Ryan just stated.
$250?
That's
Yeah.
correct.
Ryan used his point to get an extra $250.
Yeah, so I started
he's
with
at
$500.
Oh man, I didn't know you get to double it. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I only did that because I was pricing out what I wanted. And then I got to a point where I'm like, I should add these up. And it was way over $250.
That's how it goes.
I'm like, okay.
Okay, I'll stop doing that. I was going to calculate how many pairs of pants I could buy with $250.
I mean, I have a pretty basic idea about what gear my character would need. I mean, obviously, he's going to get clothes. I don't think he has a horse, so I'm not going to use any money to buy a horse. I imagine that he has a 6-shooter of some kind, just a basic pistol, a holster, a deck of cards, and then some nice clothes. I don't think he really has anything beyond that.
Everybody should have chaps, by the way.
Yeah.
Chaps are so good.
If you're able to ride a horse.
Yeah.
That's real life advice.
Everybody.
Yeah.
I have several pairs of chaps.
You're in IT, you do programming, you need some chaps.
I don't care who you are. Get some chaps.
My gear is also pretty basic. I think what most characters would buy. I've got a Bible. I don't have a 6-shooter. I have a musket, so I have to spend an action or 2 actions to reload this thing.
Oh, wow.
And then it's also got a bayonet that I'm going to use for stabbing most of the time.
Nice.
Besides that, I bought a pound of bacon, a pound of coffee, and most importantly, 4 mules.
Oh, excellent.
Oh, wow. You did go with the mule thing.
Yeah.
Hey, where are mules in here, kid?
That's
They're under
fantastic.
common items.
Excellent.
$50 a piece.
That's hilarious.
That's not bad.
That's right. You can buy 4 and you have $50 left over for whatever you want.
Wow.
Now, my favorite thing about mules and horses in this system is you can get El Cheapo gear, folks, okay? And you can apply it to horses. And it means that if you're buying El Cheapo gear, like a gun, maybe you get a dirty, rusty gun that might misfire sometimes. If you get an El Cheapo donkey or horse, you apply hindrances to it.
What?
Oh my gosh. Can I have a delusional horse?
You could have a
too?
delusional horse. You could have a delusional horse that only has 3 legs.
My mule is an alcoholic.
I don't drink water, and neither does my mule.
Oh,
Which is why I spend all my money on whiskey. And a mule.
But your mule has very expensive taste. Top shelf only.
Only Japanese whiskey.
How much is a horse? I can't
150.
find horse.
Yeah.
150.
I highly
much is
recommend the El
El
Cheapo.
Cheapo horse.
I'm
is
getting a
what,
mule
75?
personally. Did you go over all your stuff?
I
Lord?
think it's half, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's half for those.
I would know where my stuff
I feel
is.
like I want my horse to also have nightmares.
That would be the worst. Nobody's getting sleep.
Yep.
I'm not sure if you pick the hindrances or if they're
Random?
I don't care.
Yeah, it's good.
I like the
I'm
nightmare
not
horse.
playing this game.
It's of the
Caleb-
marshal's choice.
Yeah.
The marshal
Ooh.
gets
If
2
my-
minor, or they get 2 minor hindrances or 1 major hindrance of the marshal's choice.
Man,
I
we need-
think you should have a really arrogant horse.
Somebody call Tanner. Ask him.
Oh my
Do they
gosh.
meet the requirements?
I'll message him.
Do we have to give?
I'll message him right now.
Do we have to give horses dice rolls on agility and all that?
Yep.
Yeah, you do.
Yep. So there should be stats for a horse. And I don't know if it's in the Deadlands guide, but there's definitely some in the player's guide, I think, right?
Interesting.
Yeah.
The deluxe guide?
Yeah, you don't have to assign them points. They get basic stats. And then they would get the hindrances from El Cheapo.
Oh, okay. Just seeing if I wanted anything else on here. Ooh, canteen would be nice.
Yep. I didn't buy any water, no whiskey, just me and the mules. I'll let your imagination fill in the rest.
Yeah, why do you have so many mules?
Well, I'll
Make
let your
sure there's-
imagination fill in the rest.
All right.
My
I went pretty
goodness.
basic with my gear.
You'll never go hungry.
What'd you get, Alex?
I think I'm just going to get like the basic, clothes, survival stuff, water, whatever. And then with the remainder of my money, I just bought they don't have, unfortunately, they don't have lumberjack axe in here. But the closest thing would probably be
axe.
I'm going with a war club bladed.
Oh,
Because it's a big old axe, okay?
okay, yeah.
So I bought one of those, $8, no big deal. And then the rest of my money is going to be spent on one meal and then probably some whiskey. And then I'll try and save a little just for spinning.
Just for spinning.
Probably a good amount of whiskey. The cheap stuff.
Now,
$2 a bottle.
is this 2 barrels on the side of your mule?
I would like to think so.
Okay, cool.
That would be pretty expensive.
But that's for the GM's discretion. The cheap stuff is only $2 a bottle.
Yeah.
So I don't know how many bottles will fit in a
Is it 40
barrel.
in a whiskey barrel? Okay, how much is? Let's do the math. I'm going to be real annoyed. Let's do the math. How much is a bottle of whiskey? $3?
$2 for a cheap.
Okay, so it's a tenth of what it is now. So a barrel of whiskey would be $300, right?
Okay. So
Right?
So
$150
$150.
in a barrel.
Oof. so I don't got barrels on there. Well, they're not full.
You also have
They're
to
not
pause
full.
the glass.
Not anymore, they're not.
Not anymore. Maybe at one point.
That's cool. I like that.
I probably have one empty barrel, one sloshing around in there.
You can't do that. The mule's going to be like off center.
Oh, you're right. So I'll distribute the whiskey evenly.
Just pour it between the barrels somehow.
How much time do we spend a day with you like measuring out how much goes into
Too
it?
long.
If that mule drinks too much whiskey, he's out.
Sometimes when the mule's really drunk, we use it to counteract his wobble. So he tends to lean to the right side when he's drunk. So you fill up the left side a little heavier with whiskey, and then he can walk straight.
And the mule will refuse to walk after a certain amount of time unless he has some whiskey, which is why I fashioned. It's like a tube, almost like a hamster bottle.
It's like a carrot and a stick situation,
Yeah,
but it's
but with
whiskey.
whiskey.
And like a gerbil.
Yes.
Oh my
And Caleb's
God.
mules are going to be alcoholics too by the end of this. Guaranteed.
I've tried real hard to stop him, but you're not making it easy.
Somebody needs to call PETA.
Oh my God.
You have ruined our show.
I almost forgot to buy a saddle.
Do you use your axe as a walking stick?
I could if I wanted to, Caleb. But no, I don't think I do. I don't think I'm pulling the Thaddeus here.
Now,
But
what is a
What if you're like-
buckboard for under
what?
transportation? Buckboard.
is that possibly the thing they put on rail lines where you push the paddles up and down?
Might be. I have no idea.
I don't know. Let's Google
I
that.
imagine it's a skateboard.
Oh, like a longboard
Oh,
situation.
okay.
It's under
That's much cooler.
It's $75.
Jeez. I think it might be one of those. That sounds
Yeah.
right.
Oh,
Oh,
that
it's,
makes
it's
sense.
one of those old timey wagon things.
A wagon thing?
It's like you've got the seats on it, and it's got the wheels. It's not like a cart, or it's not like a thing where you have a storage in the back. It's
So-
you just got seats on it, and you hook a horse up to it.
Oh, okay. So it's like a real basic. It's like a wagon that they just tore down. So it's just literally a board. You should get one of those. We'll hook up all the mules to it. We'll be traveling in style.
You definitely should. So basically, it's just a big old table with wagon wheels on it.
Yeah,
and
and
then chairs on it.
Yeah,
Cool.
it's
We can make one of
transportation.
those.
So then we can like stop and have dinner later.
Yeah, for
I'm
sure.
gonna get a
Yeah.
buckboard.
Okay. Wow. Cool.
We need some chairs then too.
I think it comes
think
with
If
it
I
comes
chairs.
with
use it as a
chairs.
table.
Oh,
Yeah.
use the buckboard as a table.
Yeah.
Stop for dinner.
Yep.
Consensus appears to be that my horse needs a phobia.
Yeah.
Oh,
what?
Okay. Yeah. Oh, that's good. Yeah.
What if it's scared of ants? That'd
So
be
what
pretty
is a
good.
good horse phobia?
People,
Mice.
Not a phobia of other
or
horses.
people, or
Hopefully.
mules. Apparently,
It's got to be.
Jackalopes?
It's got to be something that
That will
kinda
never
common.
come up.
Make it whiskey. Just
No, don't make it whiskey, please. Make it
No.
mules.
But only the drunk ones.
Maybe it has a phobia of you having nightmares. Maybe you have night terrors and you scream.
Doesn't make any
And
sense.
so it's constantly paranoid every night.
I don't
that
think a horse can comprehend. on
What
that
if it
level.
has a phobia
I
for
don't know
screaming?
if a phobia is the same as horse PTSD. Which sounds like what you're
It could be.
I would
Who
pick
knows?
something that doesn't exist yet, like AK-47s or a helicopter. Well, helicopters exist.
Yeah, they
What
do
if it's
exist.
afraid of weird science devices?
That's pretty cool.
Ooh.
It doesn't trust them.
It just knows. It just sees something and says, "Oh, that is going to blow up."
There's a distinctive feature of weird science devices where as they're going, they always burn like the souls of the damned are burning inside
Because of the ghost rock.
because of the ghost rock.
Did we talk about ghost rock on here?
no.
Kind of.
I feel like all we said was like weird coal with souls inside it.
I mean, that sums it up.
Yeah. It's a steampunk resource that screams.
And is really expensive.
Super expensive.
Wow.
Crazy.
So can everyone hear it screaming?
Yes.
Yep.
Apparently.
Yeah. I think
Maybe my horse is particularly sensitive to
That
it.
would be an
Yeah.
interesting phobia for the horse, though. Because
I think so.
that's just creepy as heck.
Right. Yeah. It senses something's a little off. Especially since it originates from like the, what was it called? That event that happened.
The Great Quake, maybe?
Yeah. Isn't that when it started popping up?
Yeah. I think it's
like,
63.
It's got origins in like the hunting grounds or something like that.
Who knows?
Who knows?
It just pops up everywhere.
Not
man.
me.
Pops up especially in
That's
California.
pretty cool.
So I just
So this horse is especially
Yeah.
spooky.
priced out what I all bought, and I am left with $20.75.
That'll get you a
Wow.
lot in the Midwest. You're just pretty good.
My goodness, that's $500.
And you had a lot of
You
money.
got a lot of gear, though. You got a lot of good stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna go over a little bit of the highlights here. I got
All right.
a horse, not a defective one, but an actual horse. the saddlebags, and all that other fun stuff. I got a lockpick set, so I can pick locks. I got 2 Colt Peacemakers, double action revolvers, so I can potentially dual wield those, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You will.
It's going to be tricky for you, but you can.
Yeah.
Yep.
We'll just put it at that.
But just in case, I normally would probably be using one of them and one as a backup. And on top of that, I also have 2 speed load cylinders for each of them.
Cool.
Okay, but hold on. We're going to have to back up here for a second. What are the names of your guns?
Don't do this to me.
So you don't name your horse, but you want him to name his guns.
Yeah, what's the name? What's
I
the
haven't
name of
named
your
my
El
horse
Cheapo
yet.
horse?
Haven't
What was the
named my
name of?
shit either.
Oh, man.
What was its name before you bought it? That is a good question. Because somebody named it before.
Well, this means
and
Caleb
then you
has
tried
to name
rename
every
it.
single one of his mules, too.
Oh, I already named him. Righty, lefty, fronty, and Will.
My mule's name is Wungus Bill.
I'm sorry.
I feel like it needs a real stupid name.
Oh, man.
I think his name is Arthur.
Arthur's good.
It's a good
Arthur's
name.
I feel like Arthur's a good scaredy horse name.
Yeah.
There you go.
I imagine him gray.
Oh, there goes Arthur again.
I
All
do
right,
actually
I've
really
got
care
names
about
for
what
my
your
guns.
guns. Yay.
All right, I'm ready.
Hunger and thirst.
Ooh.
Oh
okay,
my
that's
god!
pretty good.
Ooh. Yep.
I'm imagining this guy being a real edgelord. He's just holding them out. This is hunger.
Yep.
And this is thirst.
It's a good thing we got some smooth talkers in the party because we're going to need that
Yeah.
Yeah.
real quick.
Yeah, I basically went all out with the fancy clothes. He's got like silk stockings and everything.
Cool.
2 pairs of suits, boots. He's got one of those fancy, what are those called?
Top hat?
The
The
Stetson
bowler hat?
See, nobody can see this, but Ryan's like pointing to
What are
his
those
head.
called?
What are those? It's
It's a hat, but it's a specific type of hat. It's the
Is it a-
Stetson hat.
oh,
The Stetson?
yeah,
Yeah,
a
yeah,
Stetson.
yeah.
I was going to say, I'll have to pull up my list so that I
The-
have like a visual like infographic on different types
We
of
need
hats.
that.
Yeah.
I
Please
had
make
no
that and
clue.
send it
Yeah,
to
we
us.
have it for Burning Frontier. That's the only
We
reason
definitely
I have
need
it.
that.
It's so hard.
So
One of those hats with the
With the thing on it.
wide brim.
he also wears spectacles just for the look. And he has a
Okay.
gold pocket watch. So he's
Oh.
Mr. Fancy Pants most of the time, but he lays down the law of the land like nobody's business.
Cool.
Is it the law of
It's his own law.
Yeah.
It is now.
the law of justice?
The law of blood.
Oh, that's good.
Creeper.
Yeah.
I'm really proud of
And
you.
you said those are double action revolvers?
Yeah, double action revolvers.
Cool. So for our audience and for Alex, because he probably doesn't know.
I absolutely know, Caleb. I absolutely know.
I have literally no clue.
So a single action revolver, you have to cock the hammer every time for it to land on the firing pin. So with single action guns, you can fan the hammer, which is where you're holding your gun with your right hand, and then you're taking your left hand and just fanning your left hand over the hammer so it fires in succession. That's a mechanic in Deadlands where you can just empty your whole, what's it called?
Cylinder.
Cylinder?
Yeah.
Weird. Okay. Your whole cylinder into, like, just empty your whole cylinder into whoever is around. And then double action revolvers, you don't have to cock it every time. You can just pull the trigger and it will fire.
But mechanically, they can also do something called double tap, where for one shooting roll, you'll basically use up 2 ammo, and it will give you...
+2 to shooting, +2 to damage.
Yep.
And I think that's the only
Nice.
thing in Deadlands that you can actually do that with, right?
Yeah.
Since
Yeah.
we're a revolver.
The double
Yep.
action
There's revolving
revolver.
rifles, too.
So that's a setting rule for Deadlands.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, so that's what I got. And I was curious, do I have to get 2 holsters then, I would imagine?
Only if you want them on you.
Yeah, okay. So I took 2 quick draw holsters
Nice.
on there. So I'm all about getting my guns out fast and killing as fast as possible.
You got, like, the edge, too, right? So you're just, like,
Mhm.
double quick drawing.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. Harper has that same thing.
Nice.
Cool.
Oh, and I got a buckboard because I like
gotta
my
have that.
friends.
Because we spent all that time Googling it and
Yeah.
we just,
Mhm.
And I think that's my 4 mules that are hooked up to that.
Yeah, I think that'd be a
Why
good
not?
idea.
Cool.
What about my mule?
Well, he's carrying the whiskey.
All right.
And for the people that don't want to ride
Plus he's
horses,
drunk.
they could
Can
ride
you
the
ride on
buckboard.
top of the buckboard?
None of us ride the buckboard. We put your mule on it and then pull by the other 4.
Just sleeps most
Just
of the way?
like
Yeah, it's too
sit him in
drunk
the
to-
seat somehow.
I'd pay to see that.
Whose gear's left?
Probably mine. I didn't really pick anything like particularly fancy. I think I'm just gonna kind of keep
Just closing a deck of cards.
pretty much.
But what kind of hat?
Yeah.
Oh man,
I didn't think about
And
that.
do you have chaps?
Everybody's got chaps, I hope.
everybody has chaps. We already determined that.
I didn't because I don't ride. I got the buckboard.
Your
yet.
mistake.
Yeah, you got the buckboard. You don't need to ride on the horse.
Yeah, exactly. Riding in style. Maybe I drive, Ryan, and you just sit back there with like your arms leaned back.
Wait, did
Looking at
anybody
people.
take the driving skill? Because I think driving is what you would use.
For a buckboard?
Oh no.
I think you're right.
That's true.
Here we go.
I never said he's good at it.
Well,
Just doesn't.
How hard could it be to drive a bunch of mules?
I think
know?
if you're not trying to do anything crazy, it just happens. But if we ever got into a gunfight, that definitely would not fly
yeah.
or drive.
We are definitely going to get into a gunfight.
We're all going to die.
If we want to do a campaign, it would only last like 20 minutes. So
Pretty much.
We got
so we
time.
got time.
You're all riding your buckboard. You get attacked. Oh, sorry, you're all dead.
Yep.
One of you's going to kill the other with your bloodthirsty or your servant of death.
Just kidding. That mule's not dead. He's just passed out. That was from before.
That's a callback. Callback joke.
All right. What's next, guys?
Did everybody do gear?
Oh yeah. Do
yeah,
you,
I think
anything fancy?
no, like I said, just gun mules. After gear, I think the only
We got 4 mules.
I just heard gun mules as one.
Just need a gun. Doesn't need a mule. Need some pants.
A
like
mule that is
Amelia
also
said,
a gun.
So this is this mule is just to mount your
Yeah,
Gatling
pretty
gun.
Oh, we should have got a Gatling gun. We should have pulled our money together.
yeah, that would have been good.
Next time.
But the last step in character creation, unless you need to pick powers, Amelia, would be. Oh, actually, you probably do. Would
Oh, but I haven't even thought about that.
it's all right. Look them up. While you're looking them up, the last step is your worst nightmare.
Oh, that's a thing in Deadlands?
Yes,
Oh.
your worst nightmare, and you write it down. And don't worry, it'll never come up in gameplay at all.
Unless
It's
you're
not like
Thaddeus.
Marshall is going to record it and use it for anything in game. So don't worry about it. Just write down whatever your worst fear is.
I like how they say it. No reason, really. Trust us.
Yeah. One thing that's pretty interesting about Deadlands is they keep player and Marshall information very separate. And it's purposefully like, hey, stay away from these sections. I don't think I've seen that in any other system. I'm sure it's out there. I just haven't seen it.
So this can be literally anything, right?
Yes.
I went with drowning.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's weird. Because I went with like whitewater rapids. I think that someone in my backstory drowned or something. That's what I was gonna write that right up there.
Oh, wow. That wasn't a joke. You're going to do that.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna do.
Okay,
but maybe I
cool.
should. No, I'm gonna do it anyway.
mean,
Do it.
Yeah, do it.
Just avoid water. Everybody.
Well, yeah, like my worst nightmare is just water.
That's why you only drink alcohol.
No, that can't be true.
No, it's not a phobia. It's just your worst nightmare. So
I guess that's true.
So how many powers do you
Yes,
pick?
you're
Or
right.
How do you pick those?
I should have been looking those up.
So you're going to hate this now that I think about it. So powers are actually technically skills.
It
That's
depends. It depends on which arcane background you choose.
There's a rabbit hole.
Where did those go?
I think hucksters just have huckstering.
You can tell I've made one character in this system ever.
Is that just is that just based on like what skill I picked for spellcasting? Is that how that works?
So-
Yeah, since you're a huckster, because there's like miracles, G-masters, shamanism, weird science, and they each have different ways of casting spells.
Mhm.
And I'm not 100%
She
sure.
picked Hexen, which is a D8. Is what she
Hexen?
said. Yeah, Hexen with an apostrophe at the end.
Oh, okay.
What we're looking up right now is how many powers she gets
Gotcha.
initially. Because weird scientists get one to start with, because that's the one character. I'm pretty sure it's near the back of the book where it's listing.
It's on 91, I think.
My book wasn't falling apart.
It
That would be
also
helpful.
references another book, which I don't think we have.
Oh, really?
Classic Savage Worlds.
Yeah, I mean, you see all of them listed here, but I feel like it doesn't say in the description how
Playing a
many I can
huckster.
take.
See, this is exactly what we're talking about when we said make sure to keep the internet handy because you are going to get lost looking for something.
why doesn't it list it here? This is something that frustrates me about rule books. You should repeat, I know this wastes pages, but you should repeat every rule in every part of the rule book where it comes up, in my opinion.
Or at least, list the page number
At
where
least,
you can find it.
yeah.
Oh, okay, maybe it's right.
I cannot find this
So
in here.
I think I'm almost there. And if it's here, I'll...
What are we trying to look for? Powers?
Oh,
How many I can
I
take.
see. You have to
Yeah.
go to the deluxe guide.
What?
It says that, it says it works just like Magic Edge described in Savage Worlds in the deluxe guide. So we have to go there, except for Huckster's power points recharge at a much slower rate.
I can't even find where it
So
says
then you go
background
to the
edges. It's
no,
not
it's
there.
it's in the spells section. So go to the spells, and right before that,
Why?
so go to the spell.
God.
There we go, and then it'll be talking about trapping. Here we go.
Oh, there
Magic.
it is. So that's on the deluxe thing. Go to page 118, and then the background you want is on page 119. So as a huckster, you get 10 power points, and you start with 3 powers. So those are powers you can use at any time, and then they'll have different point values associated with them, the more powerful they are. And a couple of them are variable as well.
And I think it's been errated now that the powers in the Deadlands guide are no longer the powers you're supposed to go off of. You're supposed to go off the ones in the deluxe guide.
Correct.
But in our game, we kind of pick and choose because some of them are like super overpowered in the deluxe guide. Like, what is it called? Quicken or something like that, for example. But there's just some minor differences. But yeah, there's an errata online you can find.
So
Oh, gosh.
So it lists a bunch of things for magic hucksters. There's just a bunch of stuff just listed with no explanation of what they are.
yeah, so I think in there it should list the powers available to you, Amelia, and it should list the trappings for them. And then if you look in the deluxe guide, you'll see the actual power descriptions themselves.
What are trappings?
Trappings are like it's a firebolt or it's an ice
Flavor.
bolt. Or it's flavor.
Okay, yeah, it doesn't even, it just lists the word.
And if it says not available there, that means that as a huckster, you can't get it, essentially.
So if you want to start with a combat power, there's basically 2 you can get at novice. Bolt, which would be shooting, I don't know.
Like a firebolt or
It says,
like a laser
yeah.
beam or something.
For the huckster, it's hurling playing cards.
Yeah, like Gambit.
Oh no. I don't want that.
You're a cooler Gambit. I just have to say that this book is not laid out too well at all.
No,
yeah,
it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
On the top,
I was reading through it and I'm like, okay, let's get to creating the character, and it's talking about all this stuff, and it's like, okay, well, where's your explanation
Where's
of what
any of
agility,
that?
smart, spirit,
Yeah.
strength, and vigor are?
Right.
It's non-existent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, okay, that's great.
Yeah, you run into a lot of that kind of stuff
Yeah.
when you're playing.
There's lots of stuff where, like, there was a 3 or 4 day period where we were trying to figure out if you can dual wield automatic pistols, which
Gatling
are
pistols.
Gatling pistols.
Oh, geez.
And like they just don't exist. It's just like if it can fit in one hand, then I don't know. Maybe you can use 2 of them. It's up to you.
Use it one-handed
use your.
is the question. If you can.
Well,
But is
tech-
it too powerful? You know?
Right. Technically, it is just a one-handed thing. Basically, it just says like so. Submachine guns in the modern part of Savage Worlds, you cannot dual wield.
No, it says it's up to the GM, I think. At the end of the day, it says, yeah, some GMs might let you do it. I think that's what it says.
Yeah, it literally is just like I don't know, dude. Do whatever you want.
That's the closest thing we could find to it.
Wow.
I feel like large sections of the Savage Worlds rulebook could actually be improved if it was just blank except for the words.
Make some stuff up.
Yeah, thanks. So your main 2 offensive powers would be bolt or burst, and then the rest are really cool. I
Crazy.
think there's one called Hunch I really like, which Thaddeus has, which lets you kind of see the past in a certain area by casting the spell. It's pretty cool. I don't know, man.
Invisibility is an option.
Like, gotta keep in mind, hucksters can't get all of them, so it has to be huckster specific. You gotta make sure that it has like huckster in the trapping.
Fine, Alex.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I still haven't found a single thing about huckster spells aside from just a list of names of things.
They're in the powers in the main Deadlands guide. You can go over the powers, and then you'll notice
They're on like page. They start on page
102.
Oh, hey, there it is.
Yeah.
And at the end of each power, it'll say trappings. And then if there's one that says, one that actually describes something for a huckster, that means a huckster can actually do it.
Oh, sweet.
You could get Beast Friend.
Well, that makes a lot of
Ooh,
sense. That's
pretty
cool.
good.
That's a very interesting magic system that they've got.
Yeah, I do like that there's like different ways of casting spells depending on which background you take. That's kind of cool.
You're also really encouraged as a GM to play around with trappings a lot. Like if they're using darkness powers, maybe apply some sort of obscuring thing to anyone shooting inside. Or if you're doing ice, make it harder for people to move through the area where spells are being cast.
Oh, very cool.
So I think I'm going to take Bolt.
Good choice.
Cool.
I'm going to take Hunch.
Cool.
And I'm going to take Fear.
Oh, that's a good one.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's like an AoE thing, right? Where
Yeah.
everyone around you kind of runs away? Or are they shaken?
Yes.
Depends on how bad they feel.
They have to make a guts
Yeah.
check.
Cool. Hey, guts checks comes up again. Cool. Well, if you've picked your powers, then I think it's just worst nightmares. So, Cameron,
I've got drowning.
great. Alex.
I got a Whitewater Rapids.
Okay. I've been trying to brainstorm something that could be related to his time in the army, but I can't really think of. Ryan or Amelia, do you guys have your worst nightmares? Because I don't.
I got mine.
What you got?
Go for it.
Running out of bullets in the middle of a firefight.
Oh, that has definitely happened to him before.
So does that mean that as the fight goes on longer, you get more and more anxious?
Probably. I mean, I've got 100 bullets in backup, so I've got plenty, but
That should be fine.
I'll just steal the rest. That's all right.
I think this person's worst nightmare would probably be accidentally killing someone again.
Yikes.
That makes sense.
And that is almost guaranteed to happen at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to write down accidental murder.
Accidentally
Accidental
killing somebody
murder.
that you didn't mean to kill.
There's an official term
That's
for
called
that.
manslaughter, Caleb.
Write down.
Okay, so
But you wouldn't know that because you
Yeah.
did not take knowledge.
I pointed the gun at him. I pulled the trigger, but seriously, it was just a bad dice roll.
I'm going to say being stranded somewhere
Ugh.
Isolated and alone. I like it.
with nothing but mules and whiskey.
I mean, if you're going to be stranded, that's a pretty good way to do it.
Yeah, there are worse ways. Be real dehydrated, though.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be a nightmare.
Well, not if you drink the mule blood.
I almost went with peyote instead of
It's
alcohol.
not a tauntaun. You just...
Cool.
All right, so we probably should name these people, and then I feel like that's
That's it for the main stuff, and then we
Yeah.
just got our backgrounds to take care of.
Cool.
Cool.
all right.
I
Do we
got
have
one.
names?
I've got one.
Ryan, what's your name?
Dirge Stranglethorn.
Oh, Stranglethorn.
Dang.
That's the best name I've ever heard.
My character's name is Carson Nash.
Nice.
My character's name is Samuel Bronson.
That's pretty good.
I named my character Lila Cooper.
Nice.
Caleb's looking up names right
looking
now.
up names right now.
My name is Jebin Keys.
Like Jebin.
Jebin.
It's a very West sounding name.
Keys.
Jebin
Nice.
Keys.
He sounds like a goody two-shoes.
He's not
He
going to
is a
fit in
little
here.
bit.
He's not going to fit in. He's not going to make it.
But the second he accidentally murders someone, Ryan's going to be like, oh, nice.
That's pretty cool.
Pretty good.
Ryan's character like walks up and like pats him on the back, and Jevin chokes.
Right.
I was busy looking up a name just so I can write them down. Amelia and Ryan, could you say your character names again?
I got,
Lila Cooper.
and I've got Dirge Stranglethorn.
Dirge.
How could you forget Dirge Stranglethorn?
I was caught up in the Stranglethorn.
That's yeah.
What are you, Cameron?
Carson Nash.
Knick-knack is mine.
It's Samuel. Do people call you Sam or Samuel?
They don't really talk to me much.
Or Sammy.
Like, it depends on who they are, I guess. You can call me Sam.
Sam.
I like you. You can call
Sam
me
Brownie. Cool.
Bronson.
Wow, these are some cool characters, you guys.
Let's do it.
All right.
Yeah, let's play.
Let's start recording.
Yeah.
Who's
All
going
right,
to be the
podcast
session
time.
the game marshal, though?
Ugh. Let's
One of
pick
these
one of the
dogs?
dogs, yeah.
Wicca, you got to do it.
Wicca, come get your shot, dude. It's time to GM.
What was your last name, Caleb?
It was
Last name you
Keys.
picked?
Keyes. I'm going to assume that's how it's pronounced because it's my character.
You can pronounce it however
You
you
can
want.
pronounce
Yeah,
it,
dude.
yeah.
That's be cool.
You're in charge.
That's
Jeez.
really cool.
Control your destiny.
I just like when people have murder names. Just...
So I think I've heard most of the backgrounds for these characters, but I think we still have to flesh those out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I have much of a background for my character yet.
Cool.
Aside from
What
he
made
likes
him the way he
murdering
is,
people.
you know?
Well, why don't we reestablish with you, Alex? Do
Okay.
you want to just you're a lumberjack?
I was a lumberjack.
Okay.
I think that I stopped being a lumberjack a few years back, though. I think that I was probably, as a child, I probably lost a parent, as lots of kids do in these trying times in the Weird West. I pictured that they drowned in a river when we were trying to cross it or something, moving out west. And I was raised by a single parent, I don't know, just say my mom, and never really fit into society. I'm a larger man, not very smart, don't really like interacting with people very much. So as an adult, started working for a lumber company, and I liked the solitude of the wilds, the forest. And eventually I just decided to kind of just go off the grid and build myself a little cabin. I've been living out there with my meal, drinking whiskey. I'm probably only going to town every once in a while to sell some stuff and exchange the money I got for that for whiskey. And I've seen a lot of stuff out there in those.
I imagine
stuff.
maybe on one of those trips you ran into my character at a bar or something.
Yeah, probably.
I think Carson Nash kind of grew up further east in a bigger city. I imagine him being a city slicker. He wears lots of nice clothes. I think he probably spent some time on the street, not necessarily due to being orphaned or anything like that, but I think he spent a lot of time like hustling people and tricking people, making some money, not necessarily through the proper channels. I think he's from Louisiana. I imagine him being a real smooth talker, somebody who he likes to play cards, but he's not particularly good at playing cards. I think he's much better at playing people. So he likes to get into people's heads and mess around and see what he can get out of people around him. I think at some point he probably ran into Samuel, and then I don't know, maybe they hit it off a little bit. Maybe he's the only person that didn't treat Samuel like he was an outcast. Maybe there's a weird little friendship going on there.
So just to be clear, you guys met in a tavern.
Yeah.
This is an RPG, Caleb.
But in the West.
A West
A
tavern.
Western tavern.
A saloon.
But wait, who's that mysterious stranger in the corner that we don't know anything about his backstory?
Oh my god, is that a wizard? All right, who's next?
I think it's Ryan. He's sitting in the
I
corner.
probably
Ryan.
would be sitting in the corner, probably gambling. I'm trying to figure out like his backstory and motivations. I wanted him to be kind of like a typical outlaw, intimidating people for their money, and that's why he's kind of showing off his wealth a bit, and killing people that don't play game with him and taking their money anyway. So
He's a robber baron.
yeah, so he probably grew up east and came west to get away from the law and just to, he keeps going west further and further, and eventually he's going to run out of west to go to. But he's got a little bit of a reputation going on.
Cool. I think Jebin always wanted to be a pastor. He grew up preacher's son and really bought into that whole philosophy. Unfortunately, I think there wasn't a lot of congregations around where he could do that, and he was a little scared to leave his hometown and leave his home state. So he was just kind of stuck for a while. And then the war started up, because I think he's an older gentleman, and he had the option to be a chaplain in the army, and in the Southern Army. So he went to war, accidentally killed a dude. And he's just kind of been going around the West wherever he thinks God leads him, trying to get away from his deserting past.
And how did he end up with a crew like this?
That's a great question. I don't know.
I would like to be the town witch
Nice.
Ooh.
and the town crazy,
Cool.
which I can use that word because I have several disorders. It's fine, everyone. I can use the word crazy.
It is
Just
fine.
crazy.
It's fine. I'm not gonna hold you up to it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think I picked all the hindrances for like bad dreams and delusional. And so I think she's got some crazy premonition kind of stuff going on, but is not entirely there.
Cool. Okay.
So I'm thinking my character probably is seeing that he's kind of running out of trail to run, and he wants to probably hire himself out as, protection or whatever you would need a good gunslinger for. Cool. So that might be why he fell in with you folks.
I can imagine that at some point he and Carson ended up gambling at the same table.
Oh, there you go.
And maybe Carson used his intuition and kind of worked some information out of you that you didn't necessarily think you were giving up.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe he hired you on for protection. He's not the greatest gun himself, and he gets himself into a lot of trouble.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe you need a little help. And then his buddy Samuel came along.
That's right.
Who knows what kind of stuff they were getting into.
Also, Samuel was there.
Would it be ridiculous to say that Jebin's actually having some bounty hunters on him right now, and he's kind of trying to hire people to get him out of this situation? And while he doesn't have any money, he is willing to pay you each in a single mule.
Ooh, I like that.
Yes.
I would help you out for a mule.
I think so,
For
right?
sure.
Because all he need is like to go one town over, and then whatever the plot of the game dictated would sort of wrap us up in it, I imagine.
Oh, that'd be very interesting, yeah.
So maybe Samuel, Dirge, and Carson are kind of running as just like basically bodyguards. Carson acts as the face, and then both Samuel and Dirge are kind of the muscle, and he's kind of running this little business to protect people. He's kind of swindling people on his own time. That's how they're making their money.
Yeah. And then Lila, I don't know if you could also have a reason for leaving town. Like maybe people recently have gotten real, what's the word? People always want to string you up, I imagine.
Yeah.
And
yeah, they've got their torches.
Yeah, maybe
and
it just
pitchforks.
got
It's
a little too much heat on you, and you saw this as a good opportunity to get out of there.
it would be,
I think maybe too, Jebin didn't quite realize how close people were to catching you, and
yeah.
maybe Lila had some sort of
Like told me?
crazy dream about
Yeah,
it.
premium
Oh, wow.
premonition. She came and saved you.
That would be pretty cool. And then in his eyes, that would sort of be like you were sent by God to save him, and now he has to save you from your wicked ways.
Oh yeah,
Okay, cool.
Nice.
that would be good.
Really good.
I like it.
Cool. So you're all helping me escape town.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Who knows what we get into after that?
Who knows?
I'm
Shenanigans.
just in it to feed my revolvers.
You're the worst, Ryan.
They're hungry and thirsty.
You've never lived until you made a man die.
I really like that voice, though. Please keep doing that.
Yeah, that's a good voice.
Oh, man. Cool. Well, that's our backgrounds. That's how we know each other.
Yeah, we did it.
Cool. Where do we go? This is it, right? We did it.
We did
We
it?
did it.
Wow, guys.
Wow.
Well, we did 2/3.
Only 2/3 of it.
So yeah, we
We did
created
2/3 of it.
characters. All right. Well, thank you, good guys, just for joining us for our Deadlands Reloaded character creation episodes. Cameron, could you go ahead and remind the listeners who you are and let them know where to find you?
Yeah, I'm Cameron Reed. I play Harper on Sounds Like Crows. If you want to get in contact with me, you can always tweet at me at CJReed211. Other than that, I'm on Instagram at dungeons_n_dumbbells. And yeah, that's where you can find me.
And where can people find you, Alex?
You can also find me on Twitter. You can find me at Orson_Sharp. That's ORSON_SHARPE. I get on there sometimes. But yeah, you can find me on there.
Awesome. And what about you, Caleb?
Quickest way to contact me is definitely tweet at me at MarshallCaleb. You also can send me an email at soundslikecrows@gmail.com, or you can go to our website, soundslikecrows.com. Again, all spelled like Russell Crowe. And I should respond to any of those.
Well, thank you guys for joining us, and hopefully you will all be back for our next episode where we discuss these characters we just
Yeah,
made.
thanks for having us.
Yeah. As long as I don't accidentally murder Alex before that.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that goes.
Character Creation Cast is a production of the One Shot Podcast Network and can be found online at www.charactercreationcast.com. Head to the website to get more information on our hosts and guests, or even some of our character sheets. Character Creation Cast can be found on Twitter at CreationCast. I'm one of your hosts, Ryan Bolter, and I can be found on Twitter at Lord Neptune. Our other host, Amelia Antrim, can be found on Twitter at Ginger Reckoning. Music for this episode is used with a Creative Commons license or with permission from the podcast they originated from. Further information can be found within the show notes. Our main theme music is Hero Remix by Steve Combs and is used with a Creative Commons license. This podcast is owned by us under Creative Commons. This episode was edited by Ryan Bolter. Further information for the game systems used and today's guests can also be found in the show notes. If you like the systems discussed and wish to purchase them, links to the products can be found in the show notes. Also, check the notes or the website for cool stuff to go with each character, such as dice or mixtapes. Thanks for joining us, and remember, we find that the best part of any role-playing game is character creation. So go out there and create some amazing people. We will see you next time.
Now we gotta read some show blurbs.
Show blurbs.
Show blurbs.
Show blurbs.
Show blurbs. Character Creation Cast is hosted by the One Shot Podcast Network. If you enjoyed our show, visit oneshotpodcast.com, where you'll find other great shows like The Broadswords.
The Broadswords is an all-woman D&D podcast focused on drama, roleplay, and subverting stereotypes. Join the Broads as they unravel the mystery of snowy Rashomon, a land ruled by witches and steeped in superstition. Berserkers reign and spirits roam the frozen wastes. Ylaris, Kila, Mipri all have their own reasons for journeying north, but they soon find they have something in common. They are pawns in a divine plot.